just had a couple of thoughts that I wanted to put down. I was talking to a friend of mine about my situation. This was a few weeks back. He was aware that my employment ended in January. And we were just talking about the overall picture. And he said, you know, this may be your personal depression. Not emotional, but, you know, financial. A well-observed point, and especially for a young friend of mine, very insightful. And I said, yeah, sure, it's you know, it's something that I've been through more than once. And anyway, of course, there is worldwide economic problems are just raging, and in the direction they're going now, only going to get worse for at least, well, who knows? They're going to get worse, a lot worse. But maybe, you know, but because I guess you might say I got an early start on it, maybe I'll get an early solution to it. Anyway. One of the things I was tossing around, I'd mentioned in a previous video about going back to school and cross-training, and really I've really been thinking about it a lot. It boils down to, if that's the route that I go, it's going to boil down to doing it, well, basically one of two ways. Either a whole new field, which I had discussed, you know, just getting into something totally new and different, which that has a very strong appeal to me. And the other thing is to take, in my bachelor's degree, go back to school and get a master's degree, which that has an equally strong appeal to me. And of the two, if I can cultivate a situation, a personal situation where I can accomplish that, that's what I would like to do, is go back and get into a graduate program of the same field. You just hear, I'd be the first to admit, in a lot of cases, the value of an educational investment like that is grotesquely overrated, but it also depends tremendously on what your goals in life are and how you want to pursue it. You know, if you get out of school with a master's degree and you just want a job, wrong approach, bad deal. You need that razor sharp focus, and yes, you'll probably starve for a couple of years, but what I've seen the vast majority of the time is that people who went ahead and got a graduate degree and stayed focused like that, with that razor keen laser focus, and pursued that field, it benefited them tremendously. It depends. It depends a lot. It depends some on economic conditions, etc., but it also depends tremendously, probably more so, on the person and the passion of their pursuits. So I'm right. You know, I've got to take care of some details, some affairs, some business today, but I'm going to contact. I was looking at one university there in New Mexico, and if I don't lose too many hours transferring, and if it's not a big rigmarole, if it is a big rigmarole, then I'll look for another college. In these cases, yeah, everybody would like to go to MIT or some crap like that because of the status. That doesn't appeal to me. I'm just saying that everybody wants to go to the Ivy League stuff, but not everybody can. I'm just simply saying, if they make it a rigmarole, believe me, one of the things that's coming in this depression is going to be the popping of the educational bubble, the college bubble, financial bubble, and colleges are fixing to be, some of them will be desperate, but they're all going to be very competitive for students. So if they want to play that game of, we're just going to deny a whole bunch of college hours because we want you to pay to go to our school, I ain't gonna play that game. If they want to be progressive and you know, recognize the work I've already done, and we take off from there, great. That's the outfit I'm looking for, and that's where my money will go. Just as a footnote, there ain't no way in you know where that I'm taking out any college debt in this venture. Absolutely, positively not. I won't do it. I won't even, I'll just pursue a whole nother plan in life before I'll take on ever take on not just a student loan, but any government debt whatsoever. I've always said, and you're listening to the voice of experience on this, I have always said that if there were any errors in the Bible, the only one that I could think of was that one of the plagues against Egypt was omitted when Pharaoh didn't send low-interest government loans as a scourge on mankind. Now, I guess that came later, but anyway, I digress. I won't do it. I won't get into debt for education. I will not do it. That's what I meant earlier when I said by cultivating. If I can cultivate a situation where I can, meaning a job, get established in a job and go to school at night like I did before. It takes agonizingly long, but there are also advantages to that. Anyway, if that's what it takes to accomplish my goal, that's what I'll do. So here we are at a crossroads, a significant crossroads, especially for my age. But don't get me wrong, when I was in college in my late teens and early 20s, I went to school with people that were, I distinctly remember in their in the 50s was not uncommon. I remember a lady that was mid-60s, and I think I even remember a man that was in his 70s. You're never too old to go back to school. Never. Don't ever get that idea. My point is just that there are challenges for older people going back to school, especially considering that I graduated 31 years ago. Ought to be a groove to wear back in. Anyway, that's where we're at, and that's where things kind of set. I'll have to do some serious thinking and looking. Going back to school is almost like choosing a school to go to is almost like trying to find a job, filtering out what you know, the crap you're not going to put up with. And that's another benefit of being older and going back to school. I'm not putting up, I recognize the crap, and I'm not going to tolerate it. And those people in higher education, the educational planners, whether they want to or not, they're either gonna be progressive and recognize those type things, especially with older students, or they're gonna be dragged kicking and screaming into modern day times. So, they'll either go broke or they'll play ball, one or the other. So, anyway, that's where things are at. We'll see how things go, and I'll let you know on the decision. It may take a while to decide, but I'm planning a trip this week, and part of the plan of that trip is to check this out, follow up on it, and I'll let you know how everything pans out. One thing I wanted to add, not knowing how bad things might get, and when I say that, I usually don't mean for me as the economy on the whole, which directly affects me. It makes it harder to get a job. So when I say that, when things get bad, I mean bad for most everybody. One thing I wanted to add is one of the things that I have done, and I need to do more work in this area. Most people, I know that not everybody can do this, but I've put some money into having my bicycles up and going and ready, and having replacement parts for them, because that it can end up that a necessity. I'm just going to leave it at that. Even though you may have more than one mode of transportation, which is wonderful. One backup may not be enough. Backup after backup might be. You need a plan A, B, and C. Anyway, I meant to add that on the earlier, the last video, so we'll just tie them together. And along those same lines is trying to get in a better position all the way along. This is not a destination; it's a journey. This preparedness thing, because my gut feeling about this is that we're looking at something that's going to last years, and for a long time now, for a long time, that things are going to be in the downward spiral before they ever start in the upward spiral. Anyway, I'm about to do another video. I'm just going to cut it off here, and I'm going to do a whole separate video on something that's fascinating that I've just been told by someone. Anyway, it'll be on the next video.